Hello my snacks, my name is Jack and welcome back. Now just under a month ago on True Off My Chest we have this story from the perspective of a mother admitting to her sons that she wishes she never gave birth to them. Admitting being a subjective term here for now, but as you'll find out through a dramatic update, not everything is as it seems. I don't regret it. I don't feel bad. I don't care how many times you come to my door to apologize. I let them and their father bully me for years, call me all kinds of names, how they reject every present I ever bought them because it wasn't brand new or super expensive, despite me having to go hungry sometimes to even afford what I could get them. I come to their father's house one day to say happy birthday, they ignore me. I tried to give them a hug, I got pushed away. Their father told me to stop annoying them on their 16th birthday, for God's sake. I got them both Nintendo Switches for their birthday, and I set my carefully wrapped present on the table, and they opened it last. When they saw it, they said, "Really? That's it?" I looked confused and asked, "What's wrong? Was it the color this time? Or maybe they expected games too? No one freaking plays Nintendo, you freaking dinosaur," they said. Dinosaur? You guys never text me. I didn't know what you wanted, and I know you broke the one you shared, so I got you both your own, is what I told them. They set the presents I had to starve myself for on the table, and everyone went inside for the cake. I finally realized they don't care. They really don't care. Why it took me years to realize, I don't know, but I do now know. I took the Switches and headed for the door. Their dad stopped me and in front of everyone said, "You're leaving your kids on their B-day? Let her go. It won't make a difference," one of my boys said. Everyone laughs. Everyone freaking laughed. I started to tear up and my son's aunt told me to stop being a big baby and hold the phone for pictures. I got angry and I yelled in front of everyone, "I hate you. I hate you all. I'm tired of this family abusing me, using my trauma against me, making me feel freaking small because I'm not rich and spoiled. I've done nothing but love this family. But because I'm built like a child, I can't sit with the adults." Wait, what? When was that a thing? "No one came to my birthday. Why should I be here? No one cares about me, but y'all won't bat an eye if I freaking died, would you?" Then I looked my boys dead in their eyes and said, "I hate you both too. I wish I never freaking had you." I ran out of my car and left. I blocked them all. The next day I heard a knock on my door and saw my kid's father. He begged me to come to his house and talk to our kids. He says they're so sorry. Yet I've never heard this come out of their mouths, so I'm not interested. That was 3 days ago, and ever since he comes to my door and asks me to forgive them. But I won't. I don't think I can. Sorry for any errors, I'm kinda shaken up. Their father left an hour ago, so it's still on my mind. Now at the time there was some heavy support for this woman. What a terrible family, they say. As well as, frick them and the father who probably modeled this behavior and let them get away with it for years. Drop the rope. Don't spend another dime on them. Don't give them the time of day. They made their choice. They can learn to fricking live with the consequences. With OP, yeah, they're deleted now. Thank you very much, I will. The only reason I stayed for so long is because they were my boys, my only kids. I truly believe they will one day change, but I will not be there to witness it. I tried already. And I want you to notice that. Only kids? Interesting, because just last week, a special someone had made a post of their own. This is over on r/vent, and who is this stranger? Why? It is this woman's daughter. See, this comment was left on the original post. Username's also deleted, but they said, "Do not believe her BS. I am the sister of the father in the post, and all of this is a lie, and this is not how this went down. Maya, stop lying on my family. You know this is not true, hence why you deleted your account. I am trying to upload my side, but True Off My Chest is not letting me, but please believe me, she is lying." This is a throwaway, by the way, so that's probably why I can't post. Okay, how do we know you're not lying? Give us what you think is the truth. Well, for one, my brother never hit her. He held her down because she was losing her mind in my house. She is very mentally unstable. It's also why we told her we were going to fight for custody for the boys, but she didn't want to fight, so we agreed she would visit. Wait, so did the kids complain about the gift? No, they were very happy. They said thank you and moved on. She was upset she wasn't the center of attention for longer and they didn't kiss her boots or something and freaked out. And yes, some continued back and forth throughout the comments and makes you wonder, well then where is the truth? Surely there's a middle ground to find, and that's what we'll discover in the next story. From the daughter's perspective, I hate my mum and how she convinced thousands of people that she's the victim. This is going to be long, but please bear with me. So I, 23 female, am no longer in contact with my mum, Jane, because of years of abuse, manipulation, fear-mongering, and hatred. Yeah, so you also noticing that Jane and Mia are two different names? Let's just put that in the back of our minds for now. I was conceived through a one-night stand. Jane couldn't get in contact with the guy, and so carried and raised me as a single mother until she met someone. And God, did she let me know about it. She made sure to tell me how unwanted, unlovable, and disgusting I was. She admitted to neglecting me as an infant and toddler, and how she would essentially have screaming matches with me. When I was 5, she met William and they fell in love. They got married within a year, and William adopted me after his twin sons, John and Oscar, 16 male, were born. I was 7. Their relationship moved very fast, and I believe it caused a lot of turmoil. I truly believe the pregnancy was to trap William, but that's speculation and opening a whole can of worms. During the pregnancy, though, Jane would have tantrums about having twins, how she only wanted one, and how she'd only love the first one that came out. This was a new side to her that William hadn't seen before, and he shut it down quickly.
Oh gee, my wife is so thoughtful. She knows I love the color red so much that she's waving flags around for me.
Well, she kept her promise and only gave attention to Oscar. John was completely neglected by her other than to feed. She had intense postpartum depression, and that's not her fault, but what is how she handled it. She refused to get help and claimed that a PPD or PPP is for insane and bad mothers. Right, so it's for her then. At some point, when the boys were a year or so old, she was admitted into hospital for having intense thoughts about hurting herself or others. She was diagnosed with depression, anxiety, and PPP. She spent 5 months in hospital or a mental health facility. For those 5 months she was gone, I have never felt so much love from another person in my life. Bearing in mind, I was just 8. All I had known was yelling and emotional abuse. When she got out, both sides of the family had a big sit down and told her their expectations. It was all doable. Go to therapy, take her meds, and they made her a list of emergency contacts who she could call if she was feeling it a little bit too much. She had a support system in place, but she didn't use it. We moved out when William got home and found me at age 11 trying to cook dinner for my brothers. Except Jane had turned the gas and electricity off as punishment. Jane had locked herself in the bathroom and wouldn't come out because John was upset. Remember, she hates John. She had also thrown a ton of stuff around in a fit of rage because I said she probably shouldn't take Oscar to the shop if she can't walk straight. William packed our stuff up and we left for his mother's. Jane was not happy about that. Shocking! The woman who's acting like a child is upset that her toys were taken away. Anyway, when he had found out that she had thrown all this stuff around and at me, he was furious. He filed for divorce the following Monday. The court gave him full custody with mandated visitations from Jane. I remember crying myself to sleep when I found that out. We moved out of Grandma's house and into a nice flat where we seemed to get our life together. Other than the visitation, we were good. So far, I don't think if you notice the difference in readability compared to the mother's side of the story. Of course, again, let's understand she was coming fresh from the whole fiasco when she posted hers. So how do you feel so far, though? Do you think that the daughter here is being more legit in their side of things than the mother? Based on our collective experience reading about entitled mothers and toxic parenting in general, I think it's fair to say the daughter's a bit more legitimate. Anyway, on to the part that represents just how terrible of a mother she is. So this was all fine until William got a new job and we had to move across the city. This set Jane off, who up until this point had been on mostly good behavior. We moved closer to William's sister and her family. They all knew about Jane. Aunt was on the contact list, but we all tried to move forward. Things were good for a couple of years, but then I turned 16. The day after my 16th, I got a text from Jane telling me that she's moving out and that I need to pack up my stuff from my old room. I went, stupidly, and began putting things into piles. Jane just stood in the doorway and eventually began bawling her eyes out. She began apologizing for everything she had done and how she feels like a failure. This is when she told me about the emotional and verbal abuse she inflicted on me as an infant and toddler, and how she blames herself for my numerous mental health issues. This was all leading up to her asking if I could ever forgive her. I said no.
Yes! Good on you!
I said that she may feel guilty, but she's stuck in this cycle where she's abused the boys as well. Well, she lost her freaking mind and kicked me out. It got a little physical between us, and she ended up screaming that I'm no longer her daughter and how she's disowning me. When I got home, I told William everything. He was furious too and went to her place and arrived back home hours later with our stuff. I don't know what went down, and I don't want to. We filed a police report. I had scrapes and bruises, and her mandated visits were lifted. It was like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. It was like this black cloud of negativity had finally eased up. I felt so much happier. I began to focus on school and my family without dreading having to see her. We couldn't get a restraining order, but she kept her distance. She would send birthday and Christmas cards, but we never reciprocated.
But why? She's family. That means you have to be nice to them.
The boys know a bit about what went down, but William was very frugal with what he told them. He said he didn't want to inflict unnecessary
emotional damage
onto them. Then, on their 16th, she shows up. Which was weird, because she never shows up to anything. I kept my distance and stayed in the kitchen, but I could still see and hear everything. I was shaking in fear and had to run to the bathroom at one point. She had bought them both Nintendo Switches. So if you're not sure yet, yes, this is where the mother's side comes in. They both opened her presents last, and both quietly thanked her. There was no insults being thrown around. No one said, "Let her go, it won't make a difference." The atmosphere was stifling. In fact, it was Jane who yelled and insulted first. She called the twins ungrateful brats, and the second she stood up to yell, William and Auntie began to push her outside. As she was being pushed, she points at the twins and yelled, "You're both freaking ungrateful, unlovable little coons, and my biggest regret is not aborting you when I had the chance." The party was naturally ruined at this point, and the boys are both totally emotionally destroyed. William left at one point to go and talk to her because she had blocked William, the only one who has her number, but I don't know the specifics.
Well, allegedly he went over to her place to beg for her back. Oh, this mother is genuinely insane.
It's been a few weeks since the incident, and the boys are both destroyed. Oscar has become a recluse, and John isn't eating. I'm furious. I'm sorry for making this so long. I'm just so mad, traumatized, and upset by the whole thing. So I feel nothing else to really say beyond what's already been said. It does make you wonder just how many other stories are out there where we hear only one side of it, and we immediately think they're innocent.
Because everyone did believe this woman was just a victim of a terrible family being abusive towards her.
Fascinating. Very fascinating.
In hindsight, a lot of people say,
the first post sounded like someone who's trying to justify their terribleness by trying to sound like a victim as much as they can. Still doesn't come out without fault. Yeah, the daughter's post wasn't really a surprise. The mother's post is dripping with, "Pity me, I'm a victim," which is rare in actual victims, but par for the course for abusers.
And I agree to this. It is rather suspicious that kids at 16 who are Gen Z would use the term dinosaur like this. I wouldn't be surprised if she thought another insult that the kids would use would be calling her lame. Oh, that's such a burn. Oh, you're called lame. Moving on to something a bit more lighthearted.
Today I fricked up by accidentally teaching my roommate's parrot to sing CBAT. My roommate doesn't know yet. Bird audio hyperlinked at the very end? Yes, please. So I am so dead. My roommate is out of town camping until the end of the weekend, and he's going to kill me when he finds out. Okay, so we all know the story with CBAT. No need to go into that. My roommate is out of town for a week, and I have the whole apartment to myself. 4 days ago, I, 29 male, asked my girlfriend, 29 female, if she would like to enjoy some delicious fun time while blasting CBAT. Her and I are both super weird, and are open to doing this kind of dumb stuff. To no surprise, she laughed and said yes. I just thought it would be funny to experience. To my surprise, it really wasn't as weird as I thought it would be.
It might be that the love I have for her is so powerful that it left only about 5% of my brain power focusing on the dolphin sounds in the background. The next day, we decided to go at it again. Only this time, CBAT was a surprise for her. After a few minutes of kissing, I turned on the music, and we both started laughing hysterically before getting it on. I even lasted longer than the day before, which I now regret. Here's the problem, which I stupidly did not even take a second to consider. While my roommate is out of town, I'm taking care of his parrot, who dwells in our living room, which shares a very thin door with my bedroom. This is no ordinary parrot. This is a chattering lorry. Same bird as that red one on YouTube that goes... This bird does not shut up. He makes so much noise that I've naturally learned to ignore him after a year of living with it. Anyway, somehow it never even crossed my mind that these parrots learn words and sounds and mimic them surprisingly accurately. Before leaving for work yesterday morning, I made some coffee and sat down in the living room for a bit, just relaxing and closing my eyes. All of a sudden, I hear the first few notes of CBAT in perfect pitch and rhythm. I opened my eyes, and this little dude is staring me dead in the face. 5 to 10 seconds passed, and I hear it again. I just grabbed my things and left for work immediately. I had to escape, figuring I'd just find a way to fix this or explain this later. But the more I think about it, the more I realize that I'm just dead. My roommate isn't weird like me, and he hates when I say silly things to the bird. When he comes back this weekend, I'm worried he's going to give me a notice and leave. Any advice on how to go this would be really greatly appreciated. I'm sweating as I'm writing this. And no, for privacy reasons, I will not be posting a video of the bird. Another moment you've all been waiting for. Please, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy Seabird. Oh no, you're a dead man. You're dead. Oh no, why is that the top comment? Well, I have to click that. That's just the law. It's even worse! How did they make it worse? Oh lord, fingers crossed that doesn't demonetize my video. It's worth it. It needs to stay. I refuse to edit it out. Moving on to another Today I Fricked Up, which is a lesson in it's not exactly what you intend that matters, but how what you do is perceived. And you can let me know if you think that this person was valid in getting fired overall, or just whether or not they are an a-hole about it. So today I fricked up by calling my Mexican boyfriend a support animal and getting fired over it. I, a white 17 female, and my boyfriend, who's Hispanic, who's 18 male, have newly been open about our relationship to the public after keeping it quiet with long distance. After him visiting for a week across country, we are now posting each other on social media, wearing promise rings, the whole package. Race has never been an issue to us, being a white and Mexican couple, until today. For some context, I had started working at a part-time customer service job in the beginning of summer. At first, I loved it. After working there for some time, I began to realize my job was just teenagers bossing around teenagers. Very emotional, toxic, and draining job for not even minimum wage. Wow, what a shame to be fired. How dare they save your mental health like that? I had an instance in the past of showing racism and getting written up for the workplace by asking co-workers if red or green sauce was better. The last one I asked happened to be Hispanic, and my sister-in-law's cousin, and I made the fatal mistake of saying, "Oh, you'd know best, red or green sauce." I learned my mistake and apologized to him after learning it offended him. Since that day, I have been categorized as a racist at my work. Keep that in mind. Okay, so yeah, you notice the OP is literally admitting to making a comment that was inspired through a racial assumption. Not exactly making you come across as some innocent victim here, I'm just saying. In posting a mirror photo, my boyfriend, I captioned it with, "My Mexican support animal." This is a pet name we've called each other since we became friends a long time ago. Only a few minutes go by until I'm getting calls from my sister's family to take the post down because it offended the same coworker from before. It didn't just offend him, but his whole household. I was getting passed around family group chats, Facebook posts, everything. Why were they offended, you might ask? I called him an animal. I feel like it's important to mention that this coworker is in their late 20s and all his family is 40 to 50 plus. Now, the cherry on top is I had no one from my work or his family on my social media privated account. It makes me truly uncomfortable to think how and where he got that post to spread it around. I made a response post with my boyfriend being like, hey, he's not offended, it's a pet name. Please don't let our pet names offend you. But I get called into work early today for meeting with my managers. They told me over half of the 30 people I work with are uncomfortable to work around me now. I ended up fired from the job I wanted to work at since I was little because people got offended by my boyfriend's pet name. I have never done bad stuff in my life, and I just got terminated from a job. I have been sobbing since this morning, and I seriously don't know what to do. Can anyone give me insight to this? Should I stop calling my boyfriend my Mexican support animal? In a hopeful future, maybe we can totally normalize the idea of specifying if someone's Mexican or not, and everyone assuming and it's a purely cute, endearing way. But until then, the fact you have to call him a Mexican support animal makes it really just awkwardly suspicious that it's because he's Mexican and not because he's your boyfriend, you know? Again, as that whole thing goes, it's not your intentions, but how you're perceived that end of the day is what truly matters. But before we pass full judgment, there's some edits that the OP's made, and quite a few. Now, it should be said that my boyfriend came up with the pet name himself. Is it not something I came up with out of the blue, classifying his race in a pet name? We have never had an issue with this pet name in the past after multiple times of using it in front of other people until now. Again, I do not have any coworkers on social media. I do not have any of my coworkers' family on social media. I am extremely clueless as to how, why, and when he got this, let alone care enough to be on my social media enough to see the post. Finalizing with appreciation for everyone's comments and opinions, but also, geez, people, come on, they're a minor. Why are you giving them physical death threats? So on one hand, you can also argue here that, oh, well, this is a case of some easily triggered person finding an excuse to feel some sense of pride and justice because they took down a racist. Huzzah! Congratulations, coworker in your 20s, you've defeated the enemy because you didn't like the pet name joke that you weren't even in on in the first place. Then there's also the company clearly just jumping the gun, just like in previous stories we've read where there's been cases of accusations against them and later finding out that the OP was completely innocent and if anything, right to sue the company. But this isn't exactly some sort of sexual harassment case. This is a collective agreement among coworkers that they don't like this person. I don't know if that justifies firing someone. But again, let's remember, it clearly seems that OP has this habit of, look, I don't think they're fully a racist. I just think they have a habit of not considering how what they say can come across. Again, it's that idea of understanding that everyone has a different tolerance towards jokes. Some people enjoy roasting each other, some people don't. In that circumstance, who do you say is the one who deserves to be heard more? The person whose intentions were completely honest and respectful? Or the person who's like, no, I don't care what your intentions were, you were still being extremely hurtful? Is this a case of bully versus victim or a case of comedian versus snowflake? Let me know what you think down below, and for now, we'll end things there. Thank you, as always, for watching these videos. If you enjoy our rambles together, be sure to subscribe and like this video too, so I know which ones are the more funner tales. Much love and thanks to these people who post their stories online for us to check out, and with that said, love your face, be good, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.